Hello, and welcome back to Becoming Unapologetically Me. This is our final episode from season 5. I can't believe where the time has gone. It's absolutely flown past. But I'm so grateful that you're here today because this conversation feels timely, it feels raw, and it feels real. Today, we're talking about what it means to become unapologetically me. And more importantly, what it might look like for you to become unapologetically you. Now, before we dive in, let me acknowledge something. The world feels really heavy right now. People are being killed for the colour of their skin, for their political beliefs, for daring to live authentically in societies that claim to value freedom and equality. It's heartbreaking, it's confusing, and it can feel really overwhelming. But today's episode, like always, isn't about politics. It's about humanity. It's about finding a way to live authentically with love, even in a world that sometimes feels determined to divide us. So here's the thing. When the world gets loud and angry, the temptation is to shrink, to apologize for our truth, to tuck away parts of ourselves that feel risky to show. But living that way is exhausting. It's the slow death of the spirit. Think about it. How many times have you laughed too quickly because you didn't want to stand out? Or hidden your ideas because you were afraid of criticism? Or softened your personality because someone once told you that you were too much? That's apologetic living. And when we live like that, we not only dim our own light, but we rob others of the chance to see what's possible. Now, contrast that with unapologetic living. Imagine waking up and saying, "This is who I am. This is what I stand for. And I can stand in that truth without tearing anyone else down." And that's the important part. That's the kind of unapologetic I'm talking about, the kind that creates space for everybody. It reminds me of the Marianne Williamson quote that I have on the back of my office door. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I'll be honest with you, I've played small. There were years when I tried to mold myself into what I thought other people wanted. I said yes when I meant no. I softened my opinions. I made myself invisible in order to belong. But here's what I learned. Belonging that requires you to hide who you are isn't belonging. It's performance. And eventually that performance wears you down. The shift for me came when I realized that apologizing for my existence wasn't serving anyone. Not me, not the people around me, not the world. Being unapologetically me doesn't mean being unkind. It doesn't mean blasting my truth at people like a weapon. It means standing rooted in love and authenticity so deeply that other people's opinions no longer rewrite my story. But let's pause here a moment, because when people hear unapologetic, they sometimes imagine arrogance. They imagine someone who refuses to listen, who bulldozes others, who never admits when they're wrong. That's not what I'm talking about, not at all. So, unapologetic rooted in ego, that divides. It says, I'm right, you're wrong. My truth cancels out yours. But unapologetic rooted in love, that unites. It says, this is who I am, and I honor who you are, even when we're different. That's the difference. One closes doors, the other opens them. But let's look at what's happening globally. Division is being sold to us daily. News headlines fuel outrage. Social feeds reward conflict. People are punished for existing as themselves. But here's the quiet revolution. Every time we choose authenticity over fear, every time we embrace someone else's humanity alongside our own, we resist that division. Think about it. If I live unapologetically me, and I celebrate you living unapologetically you, regardless of your beliefs, your skin color, your gender, your orientation, we create unity where the world tries to create separation. That's not naive, that's powerful. But how do we actually do this? So my thoughts have kind of formed around a simple 3-part framework. So as always, we start with awareness. Notice where you're still apologizing for who you are. Is it in your career, your relationships, your self-expression? Awareness is always the first step. Then acceptance. It's about embracing those parts instead of hiding them. Celebrate your quirks, own your story. Acceptance says, this is me without shame. And then action. What small practical steps can you take to live differently? Is that speaking up in a meeting, posting a piece of art that you've been afraid to share, wearing the clothes that make you feel alive? It doesn't have to be dramatic. Just small, consistent steps can really transform the way that you show up. Okay, so let's slow down here. Take a breath. Ask yourself, where in my life am I apologizing for who I am? And what would it look like if I stopped? And how might my unapologetic self impact the people around me? If you're able, jot that down, or if you're driving or walking, just hold those questions in your mind for a moment. This is where the real work happens, in the quiet reflection, not the noise of the world. And when you step into your unapologetic truth, you create a ripple effect. Think of children. They don't learn by what we say, but by what we model. When they see you embracing your uniqueness, they learn that it's safe for them to embrace theirs. Think of friendships. When you stop apologizing for your truth, you invite deeper, more authentic connection. Think of leadership. The unapologetic leader gives permission for a whole team to bring their full selves to the table. The ripple keeps expanding. One act of authenticity inspires another and another until unity begins to grow where division once stood. But before we wrap this subject up, I want to give you something practical. Because it's one thing to talk about being unapologetically you, but it's quite another to build a life that supports it. believe me, this is a journey that I have been on for quite a few years now. And there's still more and more areas where I have to embrace my own unapologetic self. But think of this as your starter kit, if you like. So I have shared many times on this podcast about my love of reading and books. So this is such an important part of becoming unapologetically you. Read stories about people who've walked unapologetic paths, whether those are biographies, memoirs, personal development books, even philosophy. Anything that challenges you to reflect and step into your truth. And as you read, ask, what resonates with me? Where do I feel resistance? Both those answers will teach you something. I'm just back from a couple of weeks of holiday, and I took the opportunity on that holiday to devour many books. I think it was 7 or 8 over a 2-week holiday. So those books were from a number of different genres. Some were personal development, some were novels. But all of them were books that challenged me to expand my mental horizons, to step into other people's shoes, and in a virtual sense, to experience life through their lens. I've recently found the books of Kristen Hanna, and I have read 2 of her books so far and just started the 3rd one. So the 2 books that I've finished, one's called The Women, and this is about the unseen women in the Vietnam War who were not even acknowledged that they were there, despite the really significant role that they played. And the other is called The Nightingale, about the hidden female spies in World War II. And I really can't talk about becoming unapologetically ourselves without acknowledging the journey that women in particular have had to take just to stand in their truth. So for centuries, society has told women to apologize for their very existence, for their voices, their bodies, their choices, their ambitions. Think about this. Until 1993, women's bodies were not even included in most medical trials. This means an entire half of the human population was invisible in the research that shaped medicine, treatment, and healthcare decisions. We were told to just accept it, to fit into a mold designed for someone else's body. Or consider this, that until 1974, in the UK and the United States, women couldn't open a line of credit or have independent finances without a man's signature. This isn't ancient history. This is within many of our lifetimes. So when we talk about being unapologetic as women today, we're talking about breaking a pattern that's deeply ingrained in culture. A pattern that said, be quiet, be small, don't rock the boat, don't make people uncomfortable. But here's what it means now. Being unapologetic as a woman is an act of reclamation. It's saying, my voice belongs here. My body matters. My choices are valid. My dreams are not up for negotiation. Even if the world is not giving you that message, such as with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, this is the truth that as women we can stand in. And it's not just for us, it's for the generations coming after us. Every time we stand unapologetically in our truth, we widen the path for another woman, another girl to do the same. We give them permission to live without shame, without apology, without fear of being too much or not enough. So yes, being unapologetic is deeply personal, but for women, it's also collective. It's about rewriting a narrative that has silenced us for far too long and doing it in a way that lifts everyone with us. Coming back to these starter kit ingredients that can help us to become unapologetically us. Music's a big one for me. Build playlists that make you feel seen and powerful and alive. Listen to artists who tell the truth of their experience, even when it's messy. Notice those songs that make you want to cry, dance, or belt out the words. That's your authentic self rising to the surface. I love when Jeff, my editor of this podcast, shares his musical passions with me. Music is such a great reflector of the soul, and having playlists that allow your inner truth to grow in strength is only a good thing. Also think about the company that you keep. Surround yourself with people who celebrate you, not shrink you. Who makes you feel lighter, freer, more yourself? Spend more time there. Also think about who drains your authenticity and definitely limit that time. Relationships will either water your truth or suffocate it. I like to think of it as drains and radiators. I can't remember who first coined that phrase, but it's so true. We all know those rooms that we've walked into and we feel our energy slump into our boots. Don't be there. Find the rooms where your energy feels electric and your heart is singing. Then it's about the practices that wrap around our day-to-day life, whatever that looks like for you. And I'm not here with a stipulated, you must do this, you must do that, because it's unique for all of us. But things like journaling, meditation, breath work, expressing your creativity in whatever way that looks the best for you. These are all ways of accessing the parts of yourself that the world teaches you to hide. Write without censoring yourself. Move your body in ways that feel joyful. Make art even if no one else ever sees it. And then what are the everyday actions that we can take? Speak one truth every day, even if your voice shakes. Wear something that feels like you. Take a small risk that edges you closer to the life that you want, not the one that others expect. We can shoehorn ourselves into other people's boxes for a while. Believe me, I know it well. But there comes a time when your wings need space for you to fly. You are always designed to fly, but you have to beat the drum to your own tune. Someone else's tune won't work for you. This is just one thing that I find so beautiful about the diversity of the people and the cultures, everything that's different about all of us in this world. But remember, above everything, being unapologetic is a practice, not a destination. Every book you read, every song that you let move you, every person you let into your circle, it all shapes your return to your authentic self. So here's my simple invitation to you. Live unapologetically, not with arrogance, but with love. Not with walls, but with openness. Stand so deeply in your truth that you no longer need to apologize for your existence. Because when you live unapologetically you give me permission to live unapologetically me. And together, we create a world that's big enough, brave enough, and compassionate enough to embrace everyone, regardless of belief, gender, orientation, or skin color. And that's the kind of world that I want to be a part of. And I believe it's possible, one unapologetic soul at a time. And before I sign off today, I just want to take a moment to celebrate with you. This is the end of 5 incredible seasons and over 60 episodes of this podcast. That's 60 conversations, reflections, and moments we've shared together and with guests from many, many different areas of life. And I couldn't be more grateful that you've been a part of this journey so far. For now, I'm going to be stepping back a little to rest, reflect, and create space for what's next. I truly hope to be back with you soon with fresh energy and new stories to share. But until then, thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening, supporting, and walking alongside me. And my message for you is keep shining, keep loving, and most of all, keep being unapologetically you.